And welcome back to the Let's Not Do This podcast. You got the big O, Leon Oliver, sitting alongside two of the unwise men. A man whose future is going down in flames, much like Zelensky. One, Scotty Too Hottie. How are you, sir?
Why is my future going down in flames?
You hang out with Chris. And the worst Jack Black impersonator, Chris Green. How are you?
I don't look like Jack Black.
You look more like Jack Black than he does.
Yeah.
It's just I was thinking Kevin Smith actually, but I didn't want to compliment him.
You look like Jack.
Talented.
You look like Jack half black.
You know what? I didn't even have a chance to get over to that section of the stuff yet. God, I mean, geez. That's a new record. That's like a minute 5 seconds in, counting the intro before the booze.
Sorry, it's the hat. I can't deal with it.
Yeah, that's a new. I didn't even realize I was wearing this Virginia hat. I might as well because NC State basketball ain't much better. Actually, they're much worse. So I got that going for me. But all right, we got a lot of things to get to this evening. Thank you all for joining in. Of course, streaming live right now on Facebook Live and YouTube and Rumble as well. Make sure to like and subscribe and be a friend and tell a friend. And also my racing spinoff podcast, Getting Loose with Leon. Make sure to check that out as well.
Put the link in the chat.
Oh yeah, one of you guys can do that. I'm stupid. The new episode coming out later this week. Tried to stream last night, had a little bit of a technical difficulties there. I wasn't cheating like Joe Gibbs Racing, so I guess things just didn't work out for me there yesterday. But we'll get our Atlanta preview up before the race, and I have a long shot who I'm going to put my money on to be the winner. I think we'll surprise a few folks. So,
is it Mark Martin?
Yeah, he came out of retirement actually.
He's alive, right?
Yeah, that guy will outlive us all. Have you seen that guy lately?
Bumping young Jeezy.
That was my favorite racer back when I was a kid when I watched racing.
Mark Martin was like the pioneer. Like all these guys now work out and lift and all this stuff. Before everyone looked like Jimmy Spencer, and they were all fat and just rednecks. No, Mark Martin was like lifting and like legit athlete back in the day. Now everyone does it, but no, that guy's cut, man. He could whoop all our asses right now. Don't mess with those old school guys.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, well, you would just get winded after 3 punches because of the cigarettes. But what are you going to do? Speaking of punches, USA and Canada coming up a little over an hour and 10 minutes or so from now. 4 nations face off. We'll get into that as well. America's falling in love again with hockey, or it might just be the hockey violence. I don't know. Got some NBA news to get out, including some big injury news that we'll get to, and some weird news as well. And what weird things is Chris going to eat that says he'll eat, and then he always forgets to eat on the show. We'll get to all of that. Did you gentlemen go to work? Were you all able to work in the snow again?
I did not go to work today because I didn't fucking feel like it. Worked yesterday. Took an hour to get home, driving 25 miles an hour down a highway behind snowplows. So it's like, fuck that. I'm not doing this today. So I didn't. It was a great day.
Yeah, I didn't work either. We actually shut down today. Probably, if they would have seen what we actually got, they wouldn't have shut down. But, I still got called and had to do some work from home. But
our good friend Shane was still slaving away down there in Virginia Beach, where they got 13 inches of snow in Virginia Beach. So I'm sure that'll melt somewhere around September down there because they don't have a snowplow. I'm sure there's just one in the eastern part of the state and they just pass it around. It's kind of like a blunt, just get the rotation going. I'm sure Newport News is going to be last. I can tell you that now, because you have to have tax dollars, to pay for stuff, and they don't. So what are you going to do? All right. Well, speaking of paying for stuff, my body's been paying for bad decisions that I've been making for, a long, long time.
40 years.
Thank you. My body's been paying for bad decisions. So I decided, you know what? I'll take care of myself a little bit better, which starts with diet. That's the easiest thing that we can control. Been tracking my calories, been tracking my water. By the way, what is it supposed to keep like 67 ounces of water a day or something like that? This is like just putting me over 100 right now. So I got this going.
Tom Brady drinks his body weight in ounces every day.
Is that what if I do that, I'm gonna be drinking all day long. Well, I'm drinking a lot of water. I'm eating better. I'm tracking things. Then I saw a deal online for Domino's Pizza, which I'm not a big fan of, but it was $9.99 for any size pizza with any amount of toppings. So I decided to do it. Got half the pizza the way my wife wanted it, and I got half with every meat possible and some veggies and extra cheese. And when I picked this thing up, all the toppings instinctively just slid forward off of my slice and the extra cheese as well. Chris, you warned me that it wasn't going to bake properly.
Sure fucking did.
And as I usually do, I don't listen to you. And so I went ahead and did it. This cheese and pizza is not sitting well right now. So
that's karma. It's like when like your boss takes you out for work and you just get the most expensive thing on the menu just because, even if you don't like it.
Yeah, well, I might have to pull a Lamar Jackson at some point during this podcast, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, this Domino's Pizza is facing off. They're throwing punches like USA and Canada. So, all right, well, let's get into the show here. Switch things up a little bit. Let's start with the NBA. Big news this afternoon. Victor Wembanyama, did I pronounce that right?
Close enough. Pretty close.
Yeah. Okay, Winnebago. Out the year, he's got a blood clot in his shoulder, which I've never really heard of that before. But anytime you're dealing with a blood clot situation, that is serious. And apparently, he is out for the rest of the season. And I knew he apparently was the betting favorite for Defensive Player of the Year. So I guess
he was like the runaway favorite because Jaren Jackson went from plus 2,200 to minus 110 after the news for Defensive Player of the Year.
Wow. So I guess that goes out the window because I imagine you have to play more than half the season, right?
You have to play 65 games to qualify.
Interesting. Okay. So what does this do for the Spurs? I don't watch the NBA. I barely know he's a Spur. What does this do? Are they good? Are they going to go in the crapper without him? What does this mean for San Antonio?
They're young. They are playing without Popovich at the moment because he had a stroke earlier in the year. So they're very young. They just traded for De'Aaron Fox. That's their 5-year plan, him and Wembanyama. I'm assuming the doctors are going to get this taken care of. But what I was reading online today, it takes about 6 months for them to clear you for blood clots once it is detected because they want to make sure everything is A-okay and it doesn't pop up again and all that stuff. This is what retired Chris Bosh about 5 years too early, about 10 years ago or so. So hopefully he's okay. He's way too young for this shit. But, giant people have weird abnormalities with their bodies. So hopefully this is a one-off thing. The dude's the next megastar in the world. So hopefully he can come back from it.
I know Tommy Frazier played football at Nebraska, like 94, 95 quarterback. I believe his pro career was cut short, A, because he was a quarterback coming out of Nebraska, so throwing the football was not something that they did. But B, I believe he had some blood clot issues in his legs. And obviously blood clots are always a serious thing because that can, kill you. So, definitely something you want to get taken care of. Scotty, let me ask you this. Obviously, Chris said he's one of the young stars of the league. What does this mean for the league? Do you think does this you got a league where LeBron's older? I know Luka just got traded to LA and all this stuff, but like he's one of the faces of this league, like him and Giannis and everything. Like, does this hurt the league overall losing a guy of this caliber?
I mean, it certainly doesn't help it. Like you said, he was probably going to become the face of the NBA. He probably still will at some point. It's funny. I was watching that new documentary on Netflix. I forget what it's called, but it's about the basketball Olympics last year. They talk about Wemby a lot and just how everybody says he's just like a grounded dude. He's all business, all basketball, none of the bullshit, just a good dude. So it kind of sucks that this happened now, but Spurs say he should be back. They're optimistic he'll be back. I know they can't say for sure yet, but to start the season next year. So hopefully it's nothing long term. And for the Spurs, I think I think you just got to tank now. Try to maybe get another good draft pick to pair up with De'Aaron Fox and Wemby and cheating Chris Paul. Are we going to talk about the All-Star weekend? Because that pissed me off. I think that was one of the only things I watched of the whole weekend. And I'm like, they ruined which it might not be a terrible thing if that leads to them actually getting rid of the competition, because it's not a great competition, but an already struggling competition, skills competition, and they're out there cheating and they got DQ'd.
I'm glad you
Chris Paul to
mentioned
get DQ'd from All-Stars Saturday skills competition.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was going to lead that into that. So you got Wembanyama out for the rest of the season, and then you got, this has not been a good few PR days for the NBA. Coming off the All-Star weekend where just everyone universally slammed the NBA for the All-Star weekend. Thank God for the Four Nations face-off, because that was the only other thing really to talk about in the sports world. It would have been even worse without that.
Real quick, the dunk contest was decent. Mac McClung had a couple really good dunks. Castle, another Spurs guy, had a couple good dunks. Not great, but it wasn't a terrible dunk contest. I didn't watch any of the All-Star game. I don't watch any of the major sports All-Star games. None of them really interest me. But yeah, the dunk contest was all right. I don't like 3-point contest now either. It's too many money balls, too many shots. Give me back the old school. Maybe add the 30-footer. I don't hate that, but not a great weekend for the NBA.
The All-Star game, obviously, I didn't watch any of it. I'll go to my grave before I watch any of it. I saw the highlights. I tried to avoid them of the dunk contest. And, I mean, that's cool, like jumping over a car and stuff. And, yeah.
It wasn't just jumping over a car. He grabbed the ball from somebody that was through the sunroof and then dunked it behind his head and almost broke his neck in the process. I
mean, that's cool, but obviously that's not something you're going to see in the game. I mean, shit, that's not even something you're going to see on NBA Street if they still make that game. I don't know. It's just like the realism.
I don't want to see dunks I see in the game for a dunk contest.
I want to see, and we'll get back to the disqualification thing.
You're going to call travel in the dunk contest?
No, I want to see, like, maybe here's how you fix it, all right? I want to help the NBA. Here's some free advice. These are not billable hours from me, NBA, unless you want to bring me on board. Here's what you do. You put get two high school kids out there. They're like from the local high school that are terrible and they're defenders. And then you get a guy who's the dunker, and you get two guys from his team, or even two random guys that he's buddies with or whatever, and you run a 3-on-2 break, and you have a fast break for the dunk. Okay, so you got two jabronis out there, and maybe it's, I don't know, Make-A-Wish kids or something. I don't know, somebody that's not going to do anything.
You want to see Make-A-Wish kids get dunked on and possibly die?
They're just out there having a good time. Obviously, they're not going to be like any defense, whatsoever. But you put them out there, you run a 3-on-2 break, and let me see what you can do in a game situation. You throw it off the backboard, and somebody windmills, and you dunk over a 5'2" kid with something,
This is why the TBT is for you, Leon. Their dunk contest, they actually dunk on each other. They have a guy standing under the rim trying to block the other guy's dunk.
That's what I want to see. The 3-point contest. Give me same thing. A couple of guys in transition. Can you pull up and hit the 3? Hell, instead of the money balls, can you make a shot from half court?
And why weren't the girls in it this year? Because that's one of the parts, or maybe that's just college when the girl goes up against the guy.
That's college. There was talk about Caitlin Clark, but she turned it down. And I think the WNBA's Players Association, who knew that there was such a thing, but I think they had a lot to do with it because they didn't want to take away from their league and draw attention away from as that league is gaining popularity, even though I hate to say it, but it is. I don't think they wanted to take away from that. And they wanted her to participate in their thing and kind of save it for that. But what's this cheating thing that you speak of? How do you cheat in an all-star game?
No, in the skills competition. So there's a was it a chest pass or a bounce pass? Or no, it was a jump shot too. Everything they were just, you get like 3 or 4 chances, and then after that you go on to the next stage. And they were just grabbing the ball and weren't even trying to make the pass or the shot. They were just throwing the ball away 3 times and then running to the next course.
So work smarter, not harder, huh?
They got DQ'd and rightfully so.
Yeah.
This
ball didn't even look like he was shooting. He was just throwing it towards the basket.
And he was mad too when he got DQ'd. They kept showing him, and he's like talking to different people, trying to get an explanation. And somewhere in the rules it said you have to make like a valid attempt at a shot. So yeah, and he pulled my boy Wimby in it.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Wimby because he had an idea I saw over the weekend where he wanted USA versus the world in the All-Star game. I know the NHL has done that before. That's
the best answer.
That's kind of cool. Even better answer. I don't know how many guys are from different countries in the NBA, but I imagine there's enough guys where you can field a few different national teams. Maybe do like what hockey does now with the divisions playing each other in like mini games, like 3-on-3. Maybe do like 3-on-3 with like the best 3 Americans against the best 3 Canadians against the best 3 French or something like that, and have like a little mini tournament, or even 2-on-2, like white men can't jump style, and have like a little mini tournament and crown like the best duo or something. It's something
the Unrivaled League, which is the full court 3-on-3 women's league that's going on right now. Their all-star festivities included a one-on-one tournament, which I think would be brilliant.
I think they're entertaining that maybe.
Yeah,
it's just gonna
that would be fun.
Yeah, your top, not a lot of your top guys. I'm sure Kyrie will, but I can imagine not a lot of them want to lose one-on-one in front of everybody.
Okay, that's, I think, and I don't want to make a political point, but I think that's a societal problem that we have. Like even these kids in the transfer portal. Oh, Chris transferred and now he's going to compete with me at quarterback, so I'm going to leave. It's like everyone's like scared of losing their spot or being embarrassed. Some guys win, some guys lose.
It's ego. It's an ego problem.
But
for sure.
I agree with you, but not with the transfer. I don't agree with you with the transfer, but I've talked about that before. Yeah. We won't get into that.
Maybe that's
you get 4 or 5 years. You get 4 or 5 years to play. You want to play.
Maybe that's a bad analogy, but you're getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars. If I lose to you one-on-one and we both get paid $100 million, who the fuck cares? It's like, yeah, my ego sucks. What my check that I got for participating in this will offset that.
Yeah, I don't hate the one-on-one. That'd be fun.
Yeah, or just let them have a street fight. Like USA Canada has shown us the way. We got everyone talking about hockey, and why? Because there was 3 fights in 9 seconds at the beginning of that game.
Not about the actual play, just the fighting.
Yeah, that's the one good thing about hockey is it's the sport that we celebrate assault. So that's cool. I'll be tuning in for that tonight.
Well, and just like
another thing I just thought of.
Hope it doesn't hurt your feelings.
Yeah,
there will be. You're probably right.
Honestly,
on the offshore books, one of the betting shows I was watching said the numbers were really outrageous on the offshore books for there not to be a fight. I want to say it was like -600 or something like that.
Yeah, they'll be all business. If Canada's smart there, they'll drop the gloves right off the bat.
Mix things up.
One thing I just thought of for All-Star, have a horse competition, but what are those trick shot guys called? The white guys that do
Dude Perfect
shots.
Dude Perfect.
Have them put together some Steph Curry, whoever, put together an NBA team, play them in horse.
That'd be cool.
You know what they should do? Have each sport, the sports should mix it up and do each other's all-star games. It's the NFL offseason right now. Let me see some NFL guys go 5-on-5 in a basketball game.
Well, they do that with the celebrity game. They have celebrity football
that would be
players.
Cool. That'd be cool for a year or two, but then it would get
maybe that's it. You switch it up.
The best idea I heard was in rookie contracts, if you're asked to participate in the dunk contest, you have to participate. They should put that in the CBA. That way you have young, up-and-coming stars. They're more athletic than the old guys now. Just fucking throw them out there and get some shine on their name. And they have to participate based on the collective bargaining agreement. I mean, Castle was great. You put it in the contract.
Okay, and then my wrist is hurt. I can't do it.
How many guys get their swing jacked up from the home run derby? It happens. But the thing is, you can hurt your wrist. Making a steak, cutting, whatever at home. I mean,
what I'm saying is, if you don't want to do it, you can just.
Okay.
I'm nicked up. I can't do it.
Yeah, but most of these guys aren't that important to their teams anyways. Their teams aren't going anywhere if they're high draft picks. Doesn't matter.
Well, we need to get some of the stars to do it.
Chris,
I
you
know
brought up
everybody's talking about next year, John Morant, Giannis. They're not going to do it, but that's what we need.
But that's what it is. That's what an all-star competition should be. Listen, I don't watch the league, but there's about 20 names that I know that like I feel most people know just because they're outstanding players. I don't know who this Castle guy is for the Spurs. Okay, most people don't know who Mac McClung is. You know,
You
Won a
know who
championship
Castle is.
last year.
Yeah,
He was the best player on UConn last year.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I don't know. Once they go to the NBA, I lose track unless they're like a superstar. But that's exactly is the problem, though. How many times has LeBron been in it? Like I know he's old now, but when he was
None.
Never.
in his yeah, exactly.
He's
You
scared
missed
to lose.
prime LeBron James. What about like Kevin Garnett back in the day or something? You know, like these guys that were like the greats. You need in an all-star game, you want to see the best of the best. And that's the NBA's problem is on any given night, you don't see the best of the best. Yeah, baseball guys take a night off because they're playing 162 games. NBA is just like somebody load manages. You have no idea if they're going to show up. You
82 games and less half the time is the baseball season, so it's about the same.
I see hockey players getting stitched up and going out there losing teeth and playing. NBA guys are flying, eating better,
But
doing better, and they're
And also,
actually,
hockey
baseball,
goalies fucking play a third of the season. So
okay. I'll give you that.
in
The
baseball,
goalies do
baseball,
good
you're actually only playing for like 5% of the game. The rest of you're sitting there waiting, unless you're a pitcher.
Yeah, but it's still a grind, though, man. Like 162 games, and then you're traveling across the country.
yes,
it's
first
a grind.
class flights and all that stuff. It's a grind. You're getting paid
That's what
millions
my
of
boy-
dollars
Well, the
to
same thing
play
with
a
the NBA.
fucking game.
The same thing with the NBA and the load management, though. But that's the problem. The All-Star game is a gimmick of the league itself, where they have an issue of getting these guys just to show up and go to work. And a lot of these guys, I'm sorry, they've come from bad backgrounds and stuff like that, and that's great. They've been able to transcend that. But they don't know what it's like to go punch a clock, you know. All right? So these guys, that some guy in San Antonio is taking his kid to the one Spurs game he can afford, and all of a sudden, you know, oh, they're playing the Lakers and Luka's sitting out, you know, and this guy's punched his clock working construction all day, and you got a guy making millions of dollars taking a rest just because he can.
No athlete knows what it's like to punch clock. No professional athlete.
You got that one guy that was
grocery store.
You got that one guy that was delivering was he delivering Uber Eats during the pandemic, the pitcher for the A's? Forget his name. But yeah, or your Kurt Warner or something.
Yeah.
I get it.
Ron Artest
But
got a summer gig at Circuit City because he wanted the discount.
It's the most random fucking thing I've ever heard of.
I can't wait for that documentary. I'll be tuning into that. But my boy Cal Ripken disagrees with you on your baseball sentiment sitting out because it's 162 games.
Why? Well, Cal Ripken, yeah, you play, but that's the same point that I'm making. You should play. If you're getting a contract, you're making that much money, you should play. I mean, like cops, I know cops, firefighters, paramedics, doctors.
But
these people go to work every day.
Don't act like it's not easier in baseball. You hit 4 times and you might field 4 or 5 balls a night. The rest of you are standing around.
Yeah, if you're an outfielder, it's easier than some other stuff. All the more reason why you should be out there. You know, you're making millions of dollars.
If these teams start putting shit in contracts, if they can arrange it, then it changes.
It's not always the player. It's not always the player either.
Yeah, the teams are holding people out.
No, it's very true. There should be ramifications for the teams as well. There should be like a legitimate, documented injury situation. And yeah, guys do need a day off. Sometimes you're just mentally burnt. Maybe you're in a slump. A guy is in baseball. You just need to sit them down for a day or two. Let them figure it out. Understandable.
I was about to say, how many rest days do you take a year? How many load management days do you take?
Listen, my job makes me want to
How many load management days have you taken at the bar this month?
My job makes me want to flambe myself like that Vietnamese monk, okay, on the Rage Against the Machine CD. All right, this is a different circumstance, and I'm not making $100 million. All right.
Since we're talking about athletes not showing up to work, my least favorite, Joel Embiid. Did you see? I think it was last week. He was fussing at Kelly Oubre for not getting back on defense, like one play.
No,
are you kidding me? I would, if I was in that locker room, I would flip my shit if he said anything to anybody about anything. It was like one of his first games back too.
Well,
he went off that game though.
Maybe that's why he felt the need to say something. But we're talking to Ubre, a guy that plays every night. Like, come on, man.
Did he take the next like 12 days off after that?
Oh, All-Star break, but he's playing tonight.
Yeah,
I got him in a parlay.
Speaking of players, I saw where unfortunately all these high-profile athletes have been burglarized. And I saw with Joe Burrow and those guys like Travis Kelce, those guys got busted that did that. Apparently, I saw a story down where Ja Morant home was burglarized from. Apparently, some guys from Chile are part of a ring doing that. Then there was another Ja Morant story where apparently he can be on the move from Memphis. I know the NBA trade deadline's coming up soon. Do we think he's going to go anywhere?
Pass.
Oh,
trade deadline passed.
Oh, fuck me! I don't know. I don't watch this. Well,
this would be in the off season if it happens.
In the off season, would he be moving somewhere? You think so?
It's possible.
Fuck no.
It's possible.
He's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. That would be the dumbest thing Memphis could do, and there's only one Nico Harrison in the league, and he's in Dallas.
There's a lot of dumb GMs out there. I mean, look at the Giants.
Which Giants?
That thing
football Giants?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if we're going to talk about that, but you sent the thing over where they're looking at Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Please do that.
Yes,
we'll get to that.
We can segue to that now before we get into hockey. We'll save the hockey for the main dish there. But apparently, Aaron Rodgers may be in play for the New York Football Giants. This would be the most dysfunctional move you could possibly have for a guy that couldn't cut the salt with the Jets. This is the very Jets move that the Giants could make. Usually it's the Jets picking up a Giants cast off, like the Mets usually pick up a Yankee cast off. Could you imagine him going cross town to Big Blue?
Please happen. We saw what they did last year. That gave the Eagles a Super Bowl by letting their best player go. And now they're going to take their crosstown rivals sloppy seconds. He's going to do exactly what he did with the Jets. The Jets have a better roster than the Giants. So, yeah, get him, bring over Devontae Adams, piss off the rookie's name, Malik Neighbors, piss him off. He'll come to Washington to be with his college teammate, Jaden Daniels. Please let it happen.
Is this the only way that they fire Daboll?
This is why this is why I believe that they might actually do this, because the GM and the coach are probably coaching for their job this year. So they're not going to pick whatever quarterback they out the scrap heap that they can get. So please let this happen. I think I heard Steelers today too.
Yeah, the Steelers have come up. Trevor Lawrence's name had been bantered around a bit too for Pittsburgh, but then he came out and said he was not interested and looking forward to staying in Jacksonville.
He's not a Pittsburgh. He doesn't look like a Pittsburgh guy.
No, he does not look like a Pittsburgh guy, and that's a big difference in state tax there. I would want to.
He looks like a Pittsburgh woman.
I was going to say you can't. Steelers fans are not going to root for Jan Brady. It's not happening.
Sir, you have not visited the city of Pittsburgh. There's some lovely Italian girls there. Okay, far be it from me. If we had a time machine, we could go back and play some old outside the box with Mike and Leon clips. Far be it from me to take up for Pittsburgh, but I will not tolerate Pittsburgh slander. There's some fine Italian women there, sir, in that city. All right, this Aaron Rodgers scenario bantered about by Corey Woodruff of USA Today. He had possible landing spots for quarterbacks, thinking that Sam Darnold goes back to Minnesota, which Minnesota has the chance to do the funniest thing ever if they were to sign Aaron Rodgers and complete the Brett Favre trilogy. I mean, we need it to happen. And it actually makes a lot of sense if Sam Darnold were to go somewhere where, let's say, the Giants could actually be a good fit for him. It would make a lot of sense for them to bring in Aaron and have him paired with JJ McCarthy for a little bit.
I was going to say, did they already give up on JJ? I mean, I know he can't. I know he can't throw the ball more than 5 yards, but do they know that?
I think you want to have a veteran quarterback to kind of guide that guy along.
You want that veteran quarterback to guide that guy along?
He's an all-timer and a Hall of Famer. Whether he's not at that point now, of course, but still, it wouldn't hurt.
Zach Wilson really appreciated his tutelage.
If Sam Darnold goes elsewhere, bet the under on that team's win total. Bet the house on it.
Oh yeah. Kirk Cousins mentioned as a possible Cleveland Brown. I think that makes too much sense. I don't know if Cleveland's financial situation, it would be a pretty penny to pull in Kirk Cousins.
Just bring the nicest guy in to make everybody
clean
forget.
up the image.
He's pretty much.
If I'm Cleveland, I'm doubling down and I'm trading for Justin Tucker. Fuck it.
They should.
You know what? Then go out and get Kirk Cousins, and you could be the 2007 Florida Gators. You got Tim Tebow and all these malcontents. It's like Tim Tuffle on the '86 Mets, like the most religious guy ever. Meanwhile, Kevin Elster's fucking players' girlfriends in the clubhouse. And who was the guy that cut the head off a cat on the Mets?
What?
There was a Mets outfielder on the '86 team. He might have been a couple years after '86, but he cut the head off of his girlfriend's cat. I kid you not. We do not condone that on this show. Peter, please don't come after us.
Kevin Mitchell.
Kevin Mitchell, yes, thank you. He was a malcontent. You had Lenny Dykstra and all his cocaine and Howard Johnson. That team was out of control. But you had
Darryl Strawberry on that team.
Yeah, Darryl Strawberry, Dwight Gooden. Those guys are out of control. And then you had Tim Tuffle, who's like Tim Tebow, just going to church, saved himself from marriage, and Aaron Hernandez is out murdering people.
I bet there was a lot of baseball teams like that back in the day, like the Oakland A's, the Bass Brothers, and Ricky Henderson. I bet you that was a wild group.
I'm sure the apples in the clubhouse were just injected with steroids back then. Like literally, you didn't even have to put the cream in the clear on.
They should have thought of that defense. Like, we didn't know.
We just ate the fruit, Like I don't know what's going on. All right, so he was mentioned there. Kirk Cousins possibly to Cleveland. Justin Fields to Pittsburgh, staying there. That makes a lot of sense. They were to bring him back. And then they mentioned Russell Wilson as a possible Las Vegas Raider. I need to see this. America needs to see this. And to have him play the Broncos twice a year.
I would like to make fun of Justin, so I would like for that to happen.
Your good friend Justin, who is the only Raider fan who I know who, well, as far as I know, hasn't stabbed anyone. That's the only. It's
our fantasy league before you got there. Our fantasy league was like 30-40% Raider fans.
Oh, did they let people out of jail for that?
That's where they went. Probably.
Yeah. You can't find. Listen, I'm not saying that all people go to jail are Raiders fans, but all Raider fans have been to jail. That Venn diagram crosses over.
It's like squares and rectangles.
Yeah. All bourbon is whiskey, but not all whiskey is bourbon. It's the same thing with Raider fans in jail. And not even jail, prison. Okay, prison. Raider fan has been to prison. All right, Raider fans, please don't go back.
I think you're more talking about the Raiders fans that are local to the Raiders.
Oakland.
We're on the opposite side of the world. The Raiders fans I know over here are decent.
I don't know, man. It's like joining a motorcycle gang. Once you put that cut on, once you put that silver and black on, something in you changes. Next thing you know, you're robbing grandmothers. You're wearing Zubaz pants. By the way, I had a pair of Raiders Zubaz pants in the 90s. I know the Bills made them popular, but I had Raiders Zubaz pants when I was a kid.
You still have those?
They might be able to fit on my right hand, maybe. Yeah. And Jacoby Brissett mentioned as a possible New York Jet, and Cooper Rush.
Why is he still in the league?
He's America's backup quarterback. There. Yeah. And Cooper Rush as a possible Pittsburgh Steeler, and Daniel Jones as a Ram if they were to move on from Matthew Stafford.
Daniel Jones is going to end up playing in a Super Bowl.
I don't know. Matthew Stafford makes the most sense to stay in LA, but I don't know. I mean,
they're blowing that up. That's what it seems like. They're getting rid of what's the wide receiver?
Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp. Yeah, they're going to get rid of him. Just send him and Stafford to Pittsburgh.
Stafford would make a lot of sense in Pittsburgh. He's like a less drunk, more in shape Ben Roethlisberger.
There you go.
minus the sexual assault.
Assaults, allegedly.
All right, let's move on to this little on frozen pond here coming up in about 40 minutes at the top of the hour. Four nations face off. USA taking on Canada from the TD Garden there in beautiful Boston, Massachusetts. Canada is a dog right now. USA is a goal and a half favorite. Over under is 5.5. 8 o'clock. What's up?
I think they're like even. They were both minus 110, like everywhere.
I saw
for the money line.
It's just somebody has to be minus 1.5 in hockey, from what I can tell.
I saw
like a minus 0.5.
Yes, it has moved to minus 110 actually since I made this. Literally right before the show on ESPN Bet, it did have it at minus 115. I want to say for USA. I'll update that here in a second.
What I've seen, it's been minus 110 on both sides all day. What I put my bet in. So,
did you use ESPN Bet? Were you shopping?
No, I'm on Fanatics.
Fanatics, okay. I find the Fanatics lines have been pretty good on that tournament for the most part. I've been bouncing those around Fanatics. A little bit. Yeah,
Fanatics might be my favorite book right now.
Fanatics, you hear that? You want to reach out to us, send us some fan cash so we can send some people your way and lose money?
It's still minus 110 for both. USA is minus 1.5, but it's plus 225 at minus 1.5.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why they wouldn't just put half a goal, but
I don't think they do. I think every hockey line is minus 1.5 or better.
I'll stick it back up there. So minus 1.5 USA over under 5.5, 8 p.m. on ESPN. Have you guys been watching this? I know neither one of you guys are big hockey guys, but has this tournament captivated you in any way?
Yeah, I was flipping back and forth when they played versus the All-Star festivities. Canada looked very disjointed, and I don't know if they were fully into that game, from what I can tell. From what I know of Canada hockey going back the last 20 years or so, I don't think they put it all out there. I think it's going to be a very different game for this championship game. I put my money on Canada and the under. I think it's going to be a tight game. So we'll see what happens. Hey, I'm rooting for my country. If we win, I'm happy. If we lose, I make money. It's okay.
One comment I do want to put out there, nothing political. We don't endorse anyone on either side of the aisle on this show. But Vice President Vance apparently said that if Canada doesn't win, they're making the tariff higher. So apparently they got that to play for. Canada has that to play for.
That's actually funny.
Yeah. We saw the Canadians vociferously boo our anthem there in Montreal. Because those people in Montreal are just miserable little piss ants anyway.
French Canadians are the worst.
Yeah, don't even get me started.
No, they're not. What are you talking about?
Oh, that was God damn. Oh, that was awful.
No, French Canadians don't talk like that. They talk in French because they hate English.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. That would be racist if I tried to talk like that.
Stupid.
Let's not do this.
Stupid Quebecois. But yes, they booed our anthem vociferously. Now they're coming to Boston, which, by the way, Boston and Philadelphia, two groups of fans you don't want to have on your to be pissed off at you. So I'm sure they're going to be in for a lovely welcome at the TD Garden with lots of people drunk on Sam Adams.
Boo the fuck out of that. They're going to boo the fuck out of the Canadian anthem, and it's a shame because it's one of the best.
It is actually, and I prior to all this going on, when I went to a what was it, Jets Capitals game a few weeks ago, I actually sung the Canadian anthem with some Canadians around me there. It is a beautiful anthem.
But yes, I will be say the name of their country.
Do most countries don't? I know we don't. I don't know everyone's anthem.
Yeah.
I know us, I know Canada, and I know England. And I know Jamaica's is like 47 minutes long for whatever reason. And China too. Yeah. Oh,
was it November Rain? November Rain is the national anthem for Jamaica.
For Jamaica, no, it's just Bob Marley songs on repeat.
Can I give my short analysis? Because I think I watched like 2 games last year of hockey. I haven't watched one yet. I didn't even know this was going on until I saw the memes of the fight. but I put a free bet on Connor McDavid first goal, and then I used some odds boost, put a little bit on USA just to have a rooting interest. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know half the players. I'll go USA. That's all I got.
I am going to take the under in this game, the under 5.5. And I would take USA. I haven't looked at the money line. What is it, 110 money line? I guess it's like pick 'em. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
yes, pick 'em.
Yeah. So USA and the under there. Listen, we're back on home ice. Yeah, we're a little dinged up, both with the Kachuk brothers, but they're going to be out there. Charlie McAvoy, obviously, he's not playing. He's might be out for some time there, injured the Boston Bruin, but the crowd's going to be on their side. They're going to be pumped up. I know everyone's thinking because we haven't beaten Canada really. We beat them in World Juniors, but not like a major international competition like this. Everyone's thinking that the pressure's going to be on USA. I think the pressure's on Canada. You're Canada. This is hockey. You're supposed to win this. USA is big brother. Your little brother. In the hockey world, it's flipped. And so they're supposed to win it. And who was it? Paul Bissonnette, I think, said on Pardon My Take. He said, if Canada doesn't win this, it's going to be a crisis in Canada. And I really do believe that. They believe that they're better than us in this sport. They should be. But I think it's going to come down to goaltending. And we have the better goaltender. Hellebuck has played amazing. We've seen Bennington let a few things go through that probably shouldn't have been. I'm going to go with USA. I think it's going to be close. It's going to be like a 2-1 kind of USA game here at home.
So are you worried about, because I did hear that, I guess this has happened a few times, and how long has this Four Nations been going on?
This is the first year. This is the first year.
But do they have, so I know they have an Olympics, do they have like a World Cup of hockey?
World Cup of Hockey is being organized and being put together. That's something that is coming. But
the World Championships usually goes on during the playoffs when players that aren't in the playoffs anymore play in that.
Okay, so this must be the Olympics they're talking about. But I guess the USA have beaten Canada a couple times in group stages and then always lost to them in the eliminations.
Yes.
So you talk about pressure. I think maybe probably pretty even from what I could tell, because like you said, the big brother of Canada, but then the U.S. in this position again, and they actually get over the hump. So should be fun.
It should be a lot of fun. I don't think we're going to see many fights. There might be a fight, maybe, and I know.
Yeah, if there's a dirty hit in the first period, they'll probably settle it there. But second and third period, especially if it's still tight, there's going to be zero fighting.
Yeah, the guys are going to police themselves.
If I'm Canada, I put all my my worst players in to start, and then let them
fourth line
drop the gloves. Yeah,
you're going fourth line right off the bat.
I think Marchand's on the fourth line, so it's probably not a great idea.
But no, those two of those fights early on were orchestrated in a group chat with the Kachuk brothers and stuff. I don't see that happening, especially since we're a little nicked up there. If, like as Chris said, if there's an egregious hit or something, the guys will police themselves and they'll figure it out there. But I think there'll be a lot of big hits. I just don't think we'll see a fight. This is going to feel like a Stanley Cup Game 7. And some of the guys, I think Bennington said, the other day that this is the biggest game of his life. Well, he's played the Stanley Cup before, so is it really interesting? He's looking at it like it's the biggest game of his life. But for many of these guys, it is at this point. So we're going to see it at that level. You don't see a lot of fights in the Stanley Cup Finals. And I think this will be the same way. I think the other day was about sending a message. I think the USA sent that message, and now I think you're going to try to see Canada move the puck and send that message because they, at the top, they have a superior skill set on their top lines, I believe. But we're a more physical team. I think we have better goaltending, and I honestly think that home crowd at TD Garden will make a difference there too for USA. And if we lose, then we dumped some tea in Boston Harbor to protest the king and his taxes. We'll just dump some maple syrup this time. So what are you gonna do?
It's a hot commodity now with those tariffs.
Oh, yeah, get all the maple syrup you can. If you know someone that has a tree in like Vermont or something, you better go up there because we may not be getting it from Canada. Yeah.
Stock up on your Crown Royal, everybody.
Oh boy. Oh, real quick before we get into some non-sports stuff here, we talked a little bit about the NBA for a bit. Scotty, you had sent this over in the group chat earlier. Let me pull this out. The Brooklyn Nets.
Mike, are you watching this? Are you watching this? How sad does this make you?
This is
Man, this is worse than what is it? The Colts. The Broncos have more. The Broncos have won more Super Bowls with quarterbacks drafted by the Colts than the Colts.
Yeah.
That's what this is like.
That's amazing. It's kind of like remember the RG3 trade with the Rams, and like they played the Rams, and like the Rams came out with all the draft picks as captains.
All those players weren't that
didn't
good.
have
So
Yeah,
whatever.
still it was
None
a
of them
great
players were that
flex.
good.
Well, I bring this up because you mentioned that, and the Nets suck, and obviously they're rebuilding woes, and we see all these former Nets go on to be an all-star for whatever that means. And obviously Mike is the only real live Nets fan I know, and obviously people always joke that the Nets don't have any fans. I found a Nets fan, and I found a Nets fan in a place you would never expect. So this was a screen from my television here, but I was watching a
That might be
YouTube video.
That might be racist.
I was watching a YouTube video, and there was a gentleman from England that was traveling in a town called Kihei on the Russian-China border. And he was at a market getting food, and he goes up to this gentleman and asks him, "Hey, what was this dish called that I ordered?" And he's just randomly talking to this guy, and this guy is in Kihei, China, wearing a Brooklyn Nets jacket.
Are
Is
we
that
sure this didn't come from when they lost the championship?
No,
And
this
he
is
got it
a
for like $5.
this is
I
a
guess shipped over
Brooklyn
there.
logo. They've been shit since they've been in Brooklyn, right? They haven't gone to the finals then.
Correct.
Yeah, I guess it is the same, different logo.
Yeah. I mean, this is phenomenal. I would never expect someone in. Obviously, you see people wearing Yankee stuff. You see Dodger hats everywhere. I'm sure there's still people wearing Bulls stuff because of Michael Jordan somewhere overseas, but I would never expect to see someone on the Russia-China border wearing a Nets jacket.
He probably liked
Did-
the Kyrie KD Nets.
Oh, well,
How you laughing? Me too.
I thought you were making a political reference with Kyrie and
did
might be
Yi
racist.
Jing Lian play for the
that-
Nets?
Yes, that might be it.
ooh,
Or Jeremy Lin.
And-
Jeremy Lin did too.
yes, Jeremy Lin
Yeah.
was a net as well. I think
And
briefly.
they had that Russian oligarch that was the owner for a while. They're on the border. Maybe that
Ooh,
has a
good
tie.
point. Maybe he wore
Well,
it a
there you
gunpoint. So I just solved the great net Chinese fan conundrum there. There we go. International incident put to bed here. Before we
The
get
girl
into some,
behind the girl behind him's glasses were way too big.
what? Oh yeah. Are you steamed up? Are you steamed up for the girl behind him?
I
So her
might
glasses are way too big.
be. I like big glasses.
I'm gonna refrain from
They
comment on that.
can't see how ugly I am if they have glasses, so it's nice.
There we go. Well, speaking of ugly things, the lot of minor league baseball teams have been going to some crazy names and alternate one-offs and stuff like that. Toledo. Toledo, by the way, the state of Michigan and the state of Ohio literally almost went to war once over Toledo. And I watch On Patrol every Friday night. If you've seen Toledo, you would think it looks like a war zone already. But the Mud Hens, their storied minor league baseball team, they are tapping into their history with the Jeep company, and they're calling themselves the Toledo Mud Crawlers for a few games. And notice that the duck is doing the Jeep wave, which I actually do respect the fuck out of that.
It's got
Nothing
four
else?
fingers, but so what's funny about that is I mentioned Justin already, but he had a Jeep Wrangler, like a pretty nice one. But we went to, I forgot where we went, but it was a pretty long drive, and at least 50 times he passed Jeeps, and he was getting irritated because they always wave, and he felt like obligated to wave. That might be why he sold it.
That could be an episode of Seinfeld, by the way, if that show still existed. Like,
Is he tired of getting rubber ducked too?
yeah, George gets pissed at getting the rubber duck. Jerry doesn't want to give the Jeep wave anymore. That would be a whole episode of Seinfeld right now. Kramer is so upset with it that he goes out and buys a Ford Bronco instead. Yeah. Elaine's dating the salesman.
Are you segueing this or no?
I was going to segue this to the other minor league baseball team, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, lovely town.
That's not what I was talking about.
Oh,
okay.
what were we going to?
Florida Atlantic at a Seinfeld night.
Oh
for
yes,
college students that weren't alive when the show was out.
yes, Florida Atlantic basketball. Thank you, Scotty. I did forget about that hosting a Seinfeld night. I think that's phenomenal. By the way, I think they were turning the stadium was supposed to be like Del Boca Vista or something like that. It was like all this stuff going into. If you're Florida Atlantic, and what they made the Final Four, was it 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Dusty May,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
Dusty May is killing it at Michigan. They were probably going to win the Big Ten.
Dusty May's gone. I'm sure interest is waning there a little bit. They caught lightning in a bottle one year, and now everyone's kind of moved on. This is a great way to get people into the game. And you're in Boca Raton, Florida. There's a million things I'd rather do in Boca than go to FAU basketball. But
So I was listening
go to the
it was on Sirius. It was either ESPN or Mad Dog. They were talking about this, and they have in like their flyer, their advertisement, it has Kramer is going to have a meet and greet, but his name is in quotation marks. So they were trying to figure out if it's going to be Michael Douglas or not. Not
Michael Richards.
Douglas, Michael Richards, or like an impersonator. And
is he still? Is he still canceled?
I don't know. He might need that. He might need that gig.
Yeah, he might need that check. I'm sure those royalty money is probably getting a little low for old Michael Richards these days. So, all right. So the royalties on these merch sales, I think, are going to be phenomenal. The Winston-Salem, I think they're the Winston-Salem Dash is the minor league team. They are going to be playing as the Winston-Salem Hooch Pooches. And apparently it's a nod to the old bootlegging days. And they are an affiliate of the Chicago White Sox. Remember Al Capone, the bootleggers and everything in Chicago. So they used to make moonshine and stuff in, the Western North Carolina. They still do. Run that stuff up to Chicago. So it's kind of tapping into the history of both. I love the pinstripe suit and the little gangster kind of hat. Like this dog looks like he could be Al Capone's dog.
Looks like Al Capone, honestly.
Yeah. That is a phenomenal logo.
I love all these. I love all these silly names for the bring them to the pros. I love it.
Yeah. Baseball takes itself way too seriously.
I didn't get a chance to grab it.
Every sport does.
But the New Hampshire Fisher Cats, which are in the same league as the Flying Squirrels here in Richmond, they're going to be the Space Potatoes. I don't know what the hell a space potato is. I'm sure somebody smoked.
Who's their affiliate? Who's their affiliate?
I can't remember. It's not the Rockies. Let me look that up real quick. As you
might have to buy a space potato jersey.
The New Hampshire Fisher Cats are the AA affiliate of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Maybe
space potato.
Is it black and purple? The colors? It feels like a black and purple scheme.
Space potato is the nickname for Phobos, the larger of Mars's two moons.
Wow, that's like when you go to trivia night with like someone that's like way too smart, but it's like probably on the autism scale. They would answer that question and bust that one out. Like, literally,
hey, I was right.
The spectrum.
I was right. I'm looking at their logo. A lot of purple.
I got it up on here now. The space potatoes.
I like it.
The alternate color. Yeah. I like the tail on the NH there for the Fisher Cats too. So we got that going for us. So good job. Maybe they wear these to Richmond one day when they kick the shit out of the Flying Squirrels, as most people usually do. In our last season in this death trap of a ballpark before we get a new stadium, which would be great.
Oh, we gotta go hit the party deck one last time.
Yes, we definitely do.
Yeah, man.
And let's get into some awkwardness here. And for that, we're going to go to some weird stories of the week. Weird Stories brought to you by absolutely no one. If you want to sponsor this or anything on this podcast, make sure to send an email to info@letsnotdothispodcast.com, and we can talk a little turkey with you. See that little logo that we have up there for us? We can change it out and present it by Bob's Tire and Bait Shop. Whatever it is, you want to sell it, we'll do it. Give us a call. Let's talk about it. All right, so food. We talk about food a lot on the show, and Chris talked about going to the party deck at the Diamond. They have decent food for a AA baseball stadium here. I'd rather eat that than this monstrosity. Chris, you'll eat anything, and this is the latest here. CC's Pizza has a spaghetti
Ooh,
pizza that they have debuted around the country. When's the last time you've been to a CC's?
far too long. I'm gonna make a trip this weekend. I'm
Too
sure.
long?
Scotty,
I
have
love
you been to a
CC's.
CC's?
It's been probably 7, 8 years. 7, 8 years. I got sick off of CC's one time, but there was also alcohol involved, and
That's
so I
what
think
happens
the
when you eat
CC's.
30 slices of pizza.
I think that's the goal. I went to CC's once in my life, and that was with my wife and one of her friends, and she brought her kids just as a get together. It was like as people were first emerging post COVID, and you don't spend money on good pizza for kids because they don't have any taste buds.
Yeah,
So we went to CC's, and it was the worst goddamn pizza I've ever had in my entire life. But this
I've
is
been like
abhorrent.
4 or 5 times, and I used to live down the street from one. And that's it. But
I don't understand why you don't think this looks good.
Look at this.
Because
This is
baked
the shittiest.
spaghetti with meatballs is amazing.
Listen,
so
I'm
basically
gonna,
what
okay,
this is.
so Leon, is your issue the spaghetti or is it CC's? Which one is it more?
CC's is baseline just bad anyway, but it's the spaghetti. This is Chef Boyardee. All they did was take a can of Chef Boyardee, open it up with a big ass like industrial can opener, and just dump this lukewarm can on top of this pizza and stick it in the pizza oven. That's all it is. Look at the noodles. Look how shitty those spaghetti noodles are. Look at
They
the
look like
quote,
spaghetti
meatballs.
noodles.
Those do not look like spaghetti noodles when I eat spaghetti, sir. No way.
Have you ever had meatballs on pizza? It's pretty good.
Yeah, I've had a meatball on a pizza before.
Spaghetti is just pizza with a different texture for
This,
the most part.
look at the sauce. You can tell looking at the sauce. It's like right out of a can. Just awful, cheap, terrible bullshit.
You
I
had
wouldn't-
Domino's earlier.
Yeah, and I'm paying the price for it. There's
There's no difference.
there is a jihad going on in my stomach right now. Okay, you think Israel Palestine is some trouble? You should see what's going on in my lower intestine because of this Domino's right now. All right.
I bet you. You know how like in other countries they have like stores or restaurants, and it's just like a ridiculous version of what they think America is. I feel like if somebody from Italy came and saw this, it would be like that for them. Like they're just throwing spaghetti on pizza. I mean, I don't think I think it would taste fine.
It looks good.
I mean, it's just a bunch of Italian food.
That looks good.
Yes, it looks good.
The taste, I don't think the taste is going to be much different than the regular pizza.
I like CC's pizza.
Jeez, if I showed
a lot
this,
of bang for your buck.
If I showed this
I'm
to
for
an Italian grandmother, she would
Fuck
gouge
about
her eyes
Italian
out.
grandmothers.
I think that's just
How many
CC's.
Italian grandmothers do you know? Who gives a fuck?
I know a few.
Tell Nona to fuck off. That shit looks good.
Listen, I'm one of the few black people that have been inside the Knights of Columbus, sir.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds terrifying.
It's an Italian organization. They liked me.
Yeah.
I got the pitch on the cheeks from all the grandmas. They kept feeding me steaks.
They're Italian?
It was great. Yeah.
I didn't know they were Italian. I thought they were like a budget KKK.
No. But they kept feeding me steaks. It was phenomenal. But yeah, so I don't know. This is just awful looking pizza. I'm glad you said that. What people think Americans eat. I was watching, as I watch a lot of YouTube, there's a Russian travel girl I was watching, and she went to a American restaurant in Russia. It was like an American like diner, 50s diner theme. The burger that she got was like this big, and that was like the regular size burger on the menu. And it literally had like the kitchen sink on top of it. And the milkshakes were like, everything was just gargantuanly massive. And she was like, it has.
I mean, they're not entirely wrong.
Exactly. She was like, this has no flavor. It's just big. She's like,
well,
see, like,
calm down, Russia. Y'all fucking eat potato soup and shit.
Hey, I'll
it's like
their only seasoning is salt, and that comes from the fucking melting ice caps. It's fine.
Remind me of the Parks and Rec. I forget what the restaurant is, but they have like a 60-ounce drink, like somebody's like carrying around like this giant cup.
I'm getting one of those large margaritas in Mexico that I'm gonna have to carry around like that. It's gonna be phenomenal. I'll probably die. Speaking of dying,
we need to put odds up on. Are you gonna make it back from Mexico? Minus 200, you'll make it back. Plus $275 you want.
Flip that.
I'm being
Flip that.
realistic.
He's
Now-
gonna get arrested.
Me not coming. That's a good. The odds on that are probably plus 100. Now me not.
Will you make
coming
it back? Will you make it back before? What month are we in
And
right now?
scheduling time.
When are you going to Mexico?
Divulge my travel plans, but it's April, the month of April.
Nobody's stopping
Okay.
you. Trust me.
So we'll say October. Will you be back in the States by October?
Oh, it's football. I gotta imagine whatever cartel takes me hostage.
I don't know if it's going to be
tired
your
of me
choice.
complaining about football. That's what I'm saying. If I don't come back, is it on my own volition or someone else's that's preventing me from coming back?
Oh, someone else's for sure.
Maybe
I would say he's coming back in a pine box, but they're not paying for that shipping.
just feed me to the fishes down there. It'll be great. Just a bunch of fucking blue marlin eating on me.
If anybody on your trip stays on their own volition, it won't be you, I don't think.
Well, somewhere I would never go on my own volition is Applebee's and also IHOP. It's been easily a decade since I've been to these establishments. Chris, I'm sure they're in your rotation. But they have teamed up. IHOP and Applebee's have teamed up and they're opening some joint restaurants from around the country. Because if you want a shitty bourbon steak and an even shittier pancake, now you can get them together at the IHOP Applebee's mashup. And I did scour the internet, and this is one of the plates I saw. That sorry excuse for an omelet. Is that supposed to be bacon that's on that plate up there up top with the knife?
That's a steak.
That's a steak?
Yeah. Steak and eggs, man.
That is, oh yeah, it is. Now that I'll zoom in and blow that up. That is, wow, that's an embarrassment. I'd rather have school cafeteria Salisbury steak. This gargantuan burger with nothing. Oh, it just looks terrible. IHOP is never a place where I would get. I love over easy eggs. I would never get it at IHOP.
I'm not seeing what the issue is.
Yeah, I don't hate this idea.
Other than the fact that
neither
the
restaurant
those eggs is probably astronomical right now. Looks fine.
Hey, I've been eating eggs all week, baby. Yeah, I got it like that. We go home.
Yeah, I don't hate this. Neither restaurant on its own is great, but like if you combine the Titans and the Jaguars, you might have a decent football team. That's what this is.
Years ago, when the Eagles were bad and the Bears were bad, PFT and Big Cat had said something like they should just merge them and call them the Philadelphia Beagles. And I actually I bought for my wife and I Philadelphia Beagles shirts. I've never worn it out in public, but it's a little beagle and he's like trying to catch a football. He's got like shades on. It's the coolest fucking looking shirt. But yeah,
that's good.
This is
the Jacksonville Titans.
But listen, Leon, you're missing the point here. That probably costs less than a fucking Big Mac meal at McDonald's right now. So think about it as far as a value.
So what exactly is wrong with IHOP? It's breakfast.
IHOP is like
it's not a 5-star restaurant, but
you can go to like a good local place and get like a good breakfast. Just because it's cheap, you don't have to eat crap. I mean, like I have a guy who's recently discovered how great Trader Joe's is. You can go there and buy some really inexpensive stuff. That's good. You can just because you don't have a lot of money doesn't mean you have to shovel garbage into your gullet. You can treat your intestines better.
Are you lecturing us on shoveling garbage in your gullet when your fucking main food groups all come from Hooters?
Hey, I have not been to Hooters.
For now they do.
I have not been to Hooters in 2025, okay? And this saddens me.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. I have not been in 2025. I would know because I would buy a calendar, and I don't have a calendar, and it makes me sad.
Did we not go? Maybe we didn't.
No, we didn't go to Hooters. We ended up going to that ghetto bar.
Yeah, we did.
What did we do after that? I thought we ended up there at one point.
We went to Hooters. We sure did.
We went to Hooters?
Yeah, with JB.
I know we were talking. I know we kept talking about it.
I know we went to that
How
ghetto
drunk
bar.
Were y'all?
Listen, that was a rough day for us. Okay,
it was.
That was a rough day. Ryan, we love you, buddy.
We
was a rough day.
We were there.
Well, I was there in physically, but not in spirit, I guess.
Because remember the waitress was showing us all her tattoos.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're right.
Mhm.
You're right. Okay, but
Yeah.
still, Hooters much better than this.
I don't know if it is. I don't know.
If you want a good breakfast, I will take you to a good local breakfast spot, and you can get out under $20 and have a very delicious breakfast. That's much better than this
We're not saying this is
abomination.
top of the notch.
We're not, but it's good.
It's
value.
breakfast. You can't fuck up breakfast so much.
Correct.
You know who this meal is for? This meal is for the person that's unemployed, watching Judge Joe Brown at 1:30 in the afternoon, waiting on their check on the 1st and the 15th, and they have a lifted up old truck in the parking lot that's dented.
No, don't do that.
No, that's not what this is.
That's what that
This is. This is you go somewhere with your friends, probably in our younger days. You end up somewhere where you don't know anybody. You get drunk, super drunk. You wake up at 2 p.m. and some people want lunch. Some people want breakfast.
Yeah.
So you all pile in and you go to the A-hop. I don't know what they would call this.
The B-hop.
Yeah.
B-hop.
Yeah.
Oh, that is, yeah. If they make a Talladega Nights 2, which I'm sure they'll get desperate enough to do it one day, he needs to go and get thrown out of this place. And I would gladly get thrown out of this place just so I'd never have to go back again.
For the first time, you can drink at IHOP now.
There's booze. There's booze
at
Applebee's. Oh,
Applebee's
that's right. Oh God, Dollaritas and shitty burritos. Can you imagine what that bathroom is going to look like? Ooh, after that omelet and $12 Ritas. Jesus Christ. All right. Well, that just made me vomit in my mouth just a little bit thinking about that.
It's probably just all the extra water that your body's not used to.
Pretty much. It really does. Which, by the way, drink of the summer.
Oh, Scotty died.
Yeah, that makes us happy. But drink of the summer. Take some water. Oh, you're back. Resuscitate it. Drink of the summer. Take some water.
Scroll and it took me out.
Take some water. Add some Crystal Light. Make a raspberry lemonade Crystal Light, preferably.
Oh my God.
Add some sweet tea. Add some vodka. Phenomenal.
Crystal Light for fat people who don't drink water.
Oh, I'm not drinking. This is just straight water. But the other day, I did break into my wife's
Crystal Light. If you're adding Crystal Light to alcohol, might have an issue there.
Listen, I ran out of beer the other day, which I'm still out of beer now. Okay, so decisions had to be made. Okay,
probably if you're on a diet, you probably shouldn't be drinking beer.
Well, I've limited that as well. I'm not on a diet. I'm just on a Aaron Rodgers sojourn for my health. You could say maybe drinking water is my ayahuasca. You know.
It's like, I added some Slim Fast to my White Russian.
Dude, that would be great. All right. On that note, let's get the fuck out of here. We got hockey to watch at the top of the hour. USA taking
coming up.
Canada here as I watch a very old Nationals.
USA.
Look at the commie loves America.
The guy that bet on Canada.
Hey, I already told you it's a win-win for me. Okay. You never bet with your heart.
There we go.
When it comes to your country, I don't know.
Always go for your country. I hate the Olympics. I hate 98% of the sports. Because most of the sports are
such a bummer. You're such a bummer.
People
it's a novelty.
People pretend that they care about badminton for 2 weeks. No.
Yeah.
If I'm seeing the best in this my country and it's just like a regular person that probably works at
it's not an
accounting
firm that requires year-long participation and watching. It's once every 4 years. Give it a shot.
Hey, speaking of
a normal person competing at the top of their field.
Speaking of someone that doesn't participate a lot, I'm watching a very old Nationals Cubs game, and look, Anthony Rendon is at the plate. A rare Rendon sighting. He probably had 12 at bats since this happened. But no, if it's checkers, badminton, hockey, whatever, I want the USA to win because I believe in manifest destiny, okay? I believe in the Magna Carta. We're the best country in the history of the world. I want us to nuke everyone else. We're phenomenal. I love us. I hate everyone else. Love it. But I don't care. the Olympics, I don't give a fuck. I want us to win, but I'm never gonna watch.
We don't
Hit
hate
the fucking
everybody.
outro.
We need to let's create a curling team. See if we can go to the Olympics.
Probably could.
I think we're already bad at curling, and my buddy James would be the captain of that
Exactly.
team.
So we can make the team.
My
No,
man is the only person
didn't we
who has
win 8 years ago? We won the gold. There's 4 random dudes.
who would know? Who would know?
That was probably when like 3 countries were doing it.
Yeah, I'm
No,
betting
man.
I'm betting on Djibouti next Olympics in curling. There we go. It's Djibouti.
Oh my god.
All right. Speaking of
Hey,
someone that doesn't
good
get booty, for Chris and Scotty, I say hasta luego.